Every year it seems like more and more companies are following the same practices as everybody else. There have been so many things that companies are starting to do that have made me disappointed with where the gaming industry is going. And honestly, I don't even know how it's going to end up in the future. So the year is 2009, and I was given a Wii Points card to download games from the Wii Shop channel. I bought two of them. The first one was Super Mario 64 and the second one was The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. Although I previously played Super Mario 64 on my DS, I was excited to play Ocarina of Time for the first time, and I'm never gonna forget the day I learned Zelda's Lullaby, the first time I rode Epona, the first time I turned into an adult. It was so memorable. The next year I got Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and I had some of the same experiences. I'm never going to forget the first time I saw the intro with so many characters from different franchises all in one game, the first time I played the Subspace Emissary, and the first time trying out all the fighters. It's the moments like these that made me love playing games for the first time. Now let's talk about Super Mario Odyssey. I got this game at launch in 2017 and I had my friends come over so we could all play. I'm never going to forget the first time starting up the game and... oh, there's a patch. Day 1 patches have been in every single game I've ever bought in recent years. I understand why they're there, but why can't a company just release a finished game at launch? I mean, that's the point of a deadline, right? I mean, am I wrong? It wasn't much of a problem back then. I mean, what happened to the times when you bought a game and it just worked? Well, I should just be thankful that I'm not missing any content. Oh, No Man's Sky is a bad game. I've never seen such a mess of a game. I mean, I'm kind of glad that they're still trying to add things and fix things to this day, but who really cares anymore? Everybody already moved on and there's no reason to come back. This is the type of thing that I hate, when games come out without anything to do in them. I know why companies try to rush things out, but it always ends up hurting them in the long run. Imagine if the Final Fantasy remake was released and 2 hours into the game they just said, "Hey, we're not done with this part of the game. Please wait until we've done and we release it, thanks." Wait a minute. Is that actually going to happen? Now the next practice is just to release updates throughout the year to finish your game. And this is seen especially in multiplayer games where you fix bugs and all these other things, and that's actually a good thing. However, it's crazy to me how companies are starting to focus more on multiplayer rather than single player nowadays. No, there's nothing wrong with multiplayer games. I've had one of my best gaming experiences due to online gaming with games like Modern Warfare, Counter-Strike, and freaking Gmod. But where multiplayer has gotten to today is just disappointing. It seems like companies just want more money for the games rather than making the game fun. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare introduced Call of Duty points, or COD points, and it's gotten out of hand. In Black Ops 3 you were given Call of Duty points, and you could exchange these points to accumulate supply drops. They start you off with 200, hell, let's get one. Wow, that was fun, let's go try oh. You have to buy them now. I know you could simply get them just by playing online, but you just get them so slowly. If you want more, you just have to buy them, and I think that's what people would rather do. And that is a huge problem. Why is that a problem? Because according to some research, if you want to earn a certain weapon by chance, you have to spend up to $100 just to get that weapon in the game you don't have. Rather than letting the players just buy whatever weapon they want, you need to instead buy these stupid points and gamble them off. And maybe, just maybe, you might get the weapon you want, but probably not. At least in GTA 5 they let you know what you're buying, but there are some vehicles and some things in that game that cost more money than the actual game itself. I mean, what is this? 2015 is what I like to call the year of loot boxes. Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, Grand Theft Auto 5, Overwatch, Star Wars Battlefront, Rocket League, Halo 5, and all of these other games had some form of microtransactions. Now I understand that some of these games only offer cosmetics as a form of loot boxes, but honestly, even if it's just cosmetics, it still makes me upset. I mean, why did people even cheer when EA said that Battlefield 5 was not going to have any loot boxes? I mean, it's for a reason.
No loot boxes, no premium pass.
Cosmetic or not, loot boxes just kill the flow of gameplay. A lot of online games have been butchered with microtransactions, and a lot of these games are starting to become, dare I say it, mobile games. That's how most free games in the mobile market make their money, either by in-app purchases or ads. Does that mean we'll start seeing ads in our games as well? If a game is free and it has some sort of microtransactions, I don't mind. The game was free, they gotta make some money somehow. But if you pay $60 for a game that has you spend more money for something that's already in the game, that's just messed up. And I think that's why I love Splatoon so much. For a lack of a better comparison, I'm gonna use this game as an example. I paid $60 for this game, and that's it. No loot boxes, no nothing. If you see a cool piece of gear, you can't just buy it, you have to earn it in game. Everybody has a fair and equal chance. And just to mention it, this game came out in 2015 as well, the same year of the year of loot boxes. I mean, it's kinda crazy if you think about it, knowing that it was an online heavy game, but this was a sign of light that sadly was going out slowly. It only kept going in 2016. We had more games introducing microtransaction. I was just upset that companies would spend more time programming a loot box system rather than implementing fresh ideas or fixing your game. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Instead of fixing most of the game's bugs, they just add more cosmetic items that you can get randomly by getting crates. The gaming outlets, articles, and YouTubers that I watched were starting to come to the conclusion that single player games were becoming irrelevant. The future was headed towards online play, which wasn't even free unless you were playing on PC. But you know, I didn't lose hope. There was no way that every single game had to have some sort of microtransactions just to make it good. But that's the direction that games seem to be going. Until March of 2017, where we were introduced to a game that was perfect. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was released with critical acclaim, one of the highest on Metacritic, gaming awards across the board. I mean, hell, it won awards before the game even came out. But what made this game so special? I mean, it was a single player game, it had no multiplayer, it had no microtransactions, no loot boxes, no anything. A practice that companies followed. So what was the deal? Well, it was just a very, very good game. That's what made it good. Finally, we had a game that showed other companies that you didn't need to include all of this bullcrap in order to make a game good, to show the industry that there was still a demand for single player games. In the same year, we got another single player game called Super Mario Odyssey, another amazing experience that did incredibly well. And that is why I love Nintendo so much. They can make some mistakes, but damn, they know how to make some good games. But I later discovered that Nintendo was not the only company that was following these practices. Another one of my favorite companies also had the same mindset on gaming, and that company was Bethesda. Bethesda is truly the king of single player and open world experiences. You see, growing up I didn't play many online multiplayer games. I had limited access to the internet, and when I did, it was kinda slow. I remember having a max download speed of like 100 kilobytes per second, and that was on max, not the average. Most of these games that I bought were single player games that I spent hours and hours on. Because of this, the first games I bought on my computer were single player games that I haven't played before. The first two being Fallout 3 and The Elder Scrolls Oblivion. After playing through those, that's when my love for Bethesda grew. Todd Howard said it himself, for every game we design a multiplayer mode, and then we decide not to do it. But it's a good exercise for us. We have some ideas of what that would look like. We seem to always end up back in the, we need to focus on the single player campaign. So with all of this being said, all I ask is for you to deliver. This goes to every company. Don't rush your games out, don't have such random microtransactions if you're gonna include them, and please acknowledge that there is still a big single player audience. And last but not least, my most important point, put Sora in Smash.
Quickest hedgehog around. Got ourselves a situation, stuck in a new location without